double the barrels, but not double the fun. Hey guys, Chelsea here, and welcome back to Bad Weapons of Enlisted. In this video, it's going to be a 2-for-1. The ToZ and the M30 Luftwaffe drilling. So, why are these so bad? Why do I dislike these so much? And more to the point, is there a reason to actually use these over, well, anything? Now, I normally do a history of these weapons, but actually, it's very hard to find anything on the ToZ. I generally could not find anything on the ToZ. I literally did a lot of Googling, but I couldn't find it. The M30 drilling, on the other hand, had a bit of history. That being from the fact that it was used, as you can see in the game, it was used by Luftwaffe pirates for self-defense in the African wilderness. However, there is, of course, it was a triple-barreled shotgun, not a double-barreled. This isn't, of course, in the game. It's a double-barreled option for some reason, which I think would have been actually more interesting if it was a triple-barreled, since, let's face it, double-barreled shotguns are everywhere. In fact, they are one of the most famous types of firearm of all time. Everyone knows what a double-barreled shotgun is. So, let's talk about the in-game stats. The ToZ is unlocked at level 5 in Moscow and level 4 in Berlin. It has a lot of damage, being 355.6 damage, which looks impressive, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. It has a reload time of almost 4 seconds, a lot of vertical recoil and a bit of horizontal, of course 2-round magazine. Meanwhile, the M30 is also unlocked at the same levels, but this time, however, it's unlocked in Tunisia at level 5 and level 4 again in Berlin. Basically the exact same stats. The only real difference is the reload time being slightly faster. However, despite these impressive looking stats, why are they so bad? Well, they're not that accurate, in my opinion. These are very inaccurate. This is something that shotguns have in this game in general. But I think the M30 and the ToZ suffer from this worst of all. They both have very inaccurate stats, and they're just not as accurate as, say, for example, the other weapons that you can use. As well as this, they are only restricted to assaulters. Now, this is a problem which is shared across shotguns in general, which is something I addressed in my Winchester video. However, in my opinion, these should not be restricted. These should be eligible to be used by all classes. The problem is they're only restricted to assaulters, meaning that they have to contend with what the assaulters have. Now, I'm going to use Berlin as an example here, but look at all of this that you could use over the ToZ. The PPS and the P42 and 43 are much better. PPSH is the PPSH, and the PPD is very strong. In Berlin, for the Axis as well, you've got the VG 1-5, which is pretty good, the Volkssturmgewehr. You had the MP35 and the MP40, which are solid weapons. The Beretta, which is very good. And the MP308, which is the MP308. And is probably just as useful as this. As the drilling. In Moscow, it's basically the exact same story. You've got you've got the pretty good PPS, and then you get the drum quite early in Moscow, if I recall correctly. And in Tunisia, you've got the M1, which is really good. The Beretta M1, and you also get another Beretta and another Beretta. Basically, you just got a load of Berettas in Tunisia. But yeah, they're just unreliable, really, and the options you get outside of it are just better for the same price. And even when you're combining that to the fact, as well as this, the Axis have an even better weapon that could be used by all classes. The VG2. Seriously, I would say, I know I'm comparing a shotgun to a rifle, but really, I would generally say this is a good comparison, because the VG2 is a good carbine, it's a pretty good carbine, and, it fills the role that the drilling can do, but it can also operate in longer ranges. I don't really think there's much in the Allies that can be comparable to the ToZ, but the problem is, again, there's so many better options. It's kind of the same deal I have with stuff like the M1 carbine and stuff like that. There's better options throughout the campaign, which, you know, both before and after, which kind of make the weapon redundant, which is the same with the ToZ and the M30. They're redundant in their campaigns, and they're redundant very quick. They're redundant in Berlin immediately. Well, the ToZ is. The M30, you can probably make a comparison that, you know, which one's worse. But yeah, I don't like these at all. They're pretty bad weapons, and really, you know, look what's after it. The MP40 and the PPS 43, you know, they're after them, and they're much better weapons for the same class. I don't think the ToZ can actually be used by anything other than assaulters, or shotguns can't be. I don't know if they can be used by anything other than assaulters, but I mean, even if fighter pilots could use these, that would be. I probably would pick a PPS over this. Like, that's the most damning thing about this. And also, again, I've already said this. They're horribly inaccurate as well. I remember when I was watching Quadro's newest video, which he's just released, and he was literally trying to kill a German, AI. This was an AI, by the way, and he failed 4 times to kill it because he was so inaccurate. And then the AI turned around and shot him in the head. Like, Quadro died to the AI using this thing. And this is Quadro. This isn't some, you know, half-assed, you know, guy who just, you know, run-of-the-mill guy in pubs who basically sits at the back. This is literally one of the best, you know, players at Enlisted failing to use this thing. Anyways, I'm going to end this video here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. The ToZ is bad. Like, yeah, I know people can get it to work. And it was better, you know, it was much better. The same with the M30. I think the M30 was made after the nerfs, so the ToZ was really good before the shotgun nerfs. But, yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.